Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. Before we get into too much of the WWE PLE, Bash at Berlin, I wanted to say a few things. First off, let's see here. I'm scrolling through my notes. Rest in peace, Psycho Sid. Obviously, Raw opened up with the memorial, which was the right thing to do. I wasn't aware that he was in bad shape or whatnot, so but yeah, rest in peace. Created some interesting moments throughout the years. Had some real interesting promos, but in that real scary moment in the ring where he broke his leg, jeez. That was one of the more terrifying things, injuries, I should say, I've seen. We had speaking of Raw, we had our debut of Uncle Howdy / Bo Dallas. Was kind of worried about this match. I knew that obviously it'd been a very long time since Bo Dallas had wrestled. He had a back injury which has kept him out of the ring, and one point was released from WWE. So obviously he had some obstacles along the way, in addition to his brother's death. It's a great tribute to Bray. That's probably the best thing I can say about this match. Were there moments where he looked tentative, where he looked a little unsure? Yes, there were. But all in all, did a tremendous job of paying tribute to Bray, and with the upside down spider thing in the corner, and the even a mandible claw on Chad. Just some great moments. Sister Abigail, obviously. Great references to Bray, which were absolutely spot on, perfect. And you knew that Chad was going to be up for whatever it takes. He's one of the best wrestlers around right now. He's an incredible wrestler, and did a great job of selling and kind of going through the match. I imagine they must have practiced the heck out of this match. This could have easily been bad. This could have easily been a downfall for Bo, but he pulled through, what was obviously a very emotional moment. One of the things I didn't like about the whole thing was the mask kind of gets in the way of Bo emoting. Kind of covers up too much of his face and his emotions, and the hair just looks really unnatural and unruly. So they might want to go back to the drawing board with the mask. Other than that, I mean, Bo looked great. He looked like he was in really good shape. Now is time for Bo and the Wyatt Six to kind of come out on their own, though. I mean, they did the tribute to Bray. They've been doing tremendous job of that. Right now, emotions are still kind of high, but the crowd could easily turn on them. So they've got to do a job of creating their own path and kind of coming up with their own stuff. And obviously take the foundation that Bray had laid down and run with that. But now they've got to branch out and become their own entities, because the crowd can be kind of fickle. Not kind of, they are fickle. So yeah, definitely start coming up with some creative elements of their own, and go from here, because they did a tremendous tribute to Bray. And like I said, now it's time to kind of come up with some original things and branch out on their own and separate themselves somewhat from Bray, because otherwise I just think the fans are going to turn on these guys in a hurry if they don't. Like, if this match had not been good, it wouldn't have been good for Bo, and it wouldn't have been good for the future of the Wyatt Six. So I'm glad to see some fitting tributes there, and glad to see that they were able to pull off the match. And like I said, Chad Gable could probably go in there and have a tremendous match with a broom handle. But I always felt like Bo was the better of the two wrestlers of the brothers. So I think he has a lot more potential that he can do within the ring. And that's how he's going to have to, set himself apart, I think, was in the ring itself and having some great matches. Because Bray was incredible creatively. I mean, he was a genius. He was incredible. But his matches were rather predictable and rather he could have some bad matches now and then. Kind of came down to his lack of ability in the ring a lot of times. So that could be beneficial for Bo to kind of build off of. If he starts having some tremendous matches, this is an opportunity. They started out with a great example, a great starting point with Chad. And I'm sure they'll prolong this feud a little bit longer. So there's the opportunity there to have some tremendous matches because Creed brothers are really good, even if they are green and kind of dangerous in the ring. But they have a high ceiling for potential. And same thing, Chad Gable is incredible. And pairing those guys up, teaming those guys up, I think was a stroke of genius. So they can continue this feud, I think, and have Bo. Maybe even lead up to a pay-per-view match where Bo and Chad just tear the place down and blow the roof off the place, and that would be great. That would be great, And there are some other members of this group that that have some potential to do that. I mean, Dexter Lumis, I really like as a wrestler. And I like his character development previous to this. Gacy could be a great element on the mic. I mean, I really think that Nikki has always been underrated. Eric Rowan is really, I think, the weak link of all of this, and they should just have him in the heater role. Be that big guy that comes in and enforces stuff. That's should be his role. That way you don't show up his weaknesses in the ring and on the mic. Although, if he continues doing what he does with that last promo. But that was real. That was him talking from the heart about Bray. So I don't foresee that in the future kind of continue. Just have him be a silent heater, and if everybody plays their roles correctly, I think that'd be good. Nikki is, man, there's some people in this wrestling world that owe their careers to wow, my brain just went totally blank. I'm sorry. But what was I gonna say? Wow. Nikki was. This gimmick hasn't been done before, kind of thing. She's kind of doing in some ways a wow. Why did my brain just go blank? The wrestler from TNA. Wow, just recently showed up in NXT, and my brain went completely numb. Wow, but original point is, I think Nikki and a lot of these other girls owe their entire careers to Daphne, and I don't know why that. I'm a huge Daphne fan. I don't know why that took so long for my brain to come up with. I'm sorry, but yeah, a lot of these girls coming out now with the Scream Queen thing. Even Paige for a long time, man. I think just owe their entire careers to Daphne. She was the trailblazers with the whole Scream Queen thing coming out, and I think a lot of these girls would be nowhere without there. And I was thinking Rosemary before, the whole Sister Abigail thing is in a lot of ways owes a lot to her too. So even though Nikki in her own right, I think is an excellent wrestler and really good. I enjoyed her a lot. So except for the whole superhero thing, and that had Vince's fingerprints all over it. But hey, let's go on to Bash Berlin. I had to watch this in two parts because of the odd timing of it. I was working when this pay-per-view happened, and I had to watch a little bit last night, a little bit on Saturday night. The show started out with KO and Cody. They've been kind of doing something like this recently with pay-per-views or PLEs, I should say. Sorry. Kind of bookending the match. They'll have a championship match or a real banger at the beginning and then end it with one, which is kind of interesting. A different way to book things, I'll say, but I think it's working so far. You gotta be careful though. Learn from AEW's example with the whole. They lead off with their strongest match, and then they have a quote-unquote main event, which pales in comparison. So you gotta be careful. Gotta be real careful with that. Show started out with KO and Cody. Good match. I kept waiting for the KO turn. I was pleasantly surprised when they didn't. It shocked me by not turning him heel and not having him turn on KO. Had a lot of respect at the end, and makes me wonder where Kevin Owens goes from here and what he's going to do. These guys know each other so well. They've wrestled many other times and whatnot. You expected a really good match from them. You got it. Had the Unholy Union versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Cargill and Belair get the belts back. Where does this leave Unholy Union? Great question. Do they kind of drift off into obscurity, I should say? I don't know. It hurts them a lot. I don't know if this was done for merch sales, because obviously Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are huge over. I think they'd be over without the belts though, and the belts do the other two so much more. Not sure what you do with them now. Do you demote them back down to NXT? I mean, they got the chops, man. Do they? I don't know. It's from a booking sense, it kind of scares me. I mean, was that just kind of a hotshot deal when they won the belts in Scotland? I don't know. And then we just kind of leave from here. I don't think they're popular enough to sustain themselves throughout the division, but that division is so weak, though. Maybe they just need where does Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill go from this? I mean, do they tease that split and start getting ready for a possible WrestleMania match? I don't know. I like how they're bringing Jade Cargill up. It makes sense to have her teamed up with Bianca Belair and bring her along this way. It's kind of seasoning her because she really is still somewhat green. You saw a lot of her flaws in AEW, even though they kind of protect her in WW and AEW too. So maybe that's the best way to go. Kind of give her the Goldberg treatment until she can wrestle a little bit more, But she's no spring chicken either, though. So eventually, I think they're gonna have to put the belt on her as an individual wrestler. Let's see. We had the CM Punk and Drew strap match. This was pretty much what you expected. These guys have great chemistry together. I like these two guys together. I was almost expecting some blood in this match. Kind of shocked that no one bled either hard way or bladed. I didn't get the rules that well with the lights, and apparently the person controlling the lights, first off, didn't either, because we saw some kind of weird mishaps with that too, where the lights weren't lit. I mean, whoever was directing that should have been screaming at the individual controlling the lights, or the director should have been controlling the lights themselves, It's probably a very simple series of buttons, so I don't think it would have taken that much, but we did see some weird mishaps, and with the rulings with like when Drew had Punk up on his shoulders, was going around hitting the lights, and then CM Punk was hitting the turnbuckle again. Shouldn't the lights have reset after CM Punk hit it, and then Drew hit it, and then CM Punk hit it? Shouldn't, because you're stopping momentum at that point. I mean, that maybe I'm nitpicking, but the light should have gone out. I don't know. That was just weird to me. I mean, these matches are usually pretty good, but that wasn't that portion of it was not straightforward to me, and maybe I'm in the wrong. I don't know, but Punk wins. He gets his bracelet back, and the way it should have been. And this is a great ending to the feud. Maybe, I don't know. I think it should end the feud, but the problem is with Seth injured now. Where do you go from here? Don't know. You know, because chances are Seth is going to be feuding with Bronson Reed when he comes back. You know, he's going to want his receipt. So I don't know. You know, we had the Terror Twins versus Liv and Dom. Rhea pins Liv for the win. Should they have prolonged this a little bit more? I mean, Liv still has the belt, so you're gonna see Liv versus Rhea eventually. But it seems like they almost made Rhea and Priest almost look too strong, you know, because they've got this whole faction coming at them, and it's like, should they have had, you know, maybe Liv screw over Rhea again? I mean, it was a feel-good thing. It was nice, but I don't know if it was the right booking. I don't know. You know, and next we had, which this booking makes sense, having, you know, for the venue where they were in Berlin and whatnot. This makes sense to book RKO, you know, Randy Orton versus Gunther. Good match. You knew these guys would put on a great match. These guys match up really well. It's almost sad to see this feud end, because these guys in the ring match up really well together and have some great chemistry. And I think Gunther, you know, is probably learning a lot from RKO during this feud. And yeah, like I said, real good match. Kind of what you expected, but that's okay. You know, sometimes it's okay getting what you expect, you know. At the end of it, I expected Gunther would win this. But what I didn't expect was Gunther extending his hand to RKO and having them shake, and having as clean a win as he did in that sense. You know, Gunther won by submission. I don't know if I said that, but it's a good way to have Gunther win, because it doesn't take any shine off of RKO. It doesn't, and it just makes them both look great. And it's decisive, yet Randy did not give up, so he doesn't tap out. So it's a good way for both of them to save face and look strong. It was the right way to book it. It was good booking. You know, I just didn't expect Gunther extending his hand. Does Gunther become a tweener kind of thing? Does he become a face? I don't think so. He'll probably come out on his next promo and totally destroy the fans. So I don't see him turning face anytime soon. I think he's better off as a heel, and then pick a baby face on that roster to pursue him. I mean, who could you have pursue him? I'm trying to think. He's on what, the Raw roster? Who do we have on the Raw roster? Let's see. I should know this, obviously. If I can bring this up real quick. Just give me the Raw people. Come on. Some interesting matchups, does Bronson Reed go after him? That would be interesting. I think Braun Breaker won't be going after him because I think he's going to have an extended run with this Intercontinental belt. But you are going to have to put him up to the main thing. CM Punk. I'm wondering if that's Gunther's next opponent, CM Punk. Excuse me. That would kind of make sense. That would be interesting. There's a couple. Bronson Reed, they've obviously jetpacked up to the main event status in the A roster. And he kind of destroyed Strowman out in the parking lot. Which, good job with that. Jeez. Yeah, him look monstrous. And this all shows what booking can do. Because up until this point, until he took Seth Rollins out, Reed just looked like a joke. Just looked like a jobber. And finally, they're making him into the monster they always intended him to be. And that's all booking. That is all booking. That's almost nothing he did on his own. That's all booking. And he's been playing the role. He's been doing whatever, been the company man. And I wonder if Triple H saw that and liked that, so he brought him up. He is a Triple H guy from NXT, right? So I wonder. There's a couple of candidates there. I don't think they'll do anything with Strowman for a little while because he's gonna sell the injury and he was made to look weaker from Bronson Reed. So I'm thinking the prime candidates are gonna be Punk, Reed. I don't know what the time frame is for Seth Rollins' injury, so that could be a leading factor in how they book this, But Punk did make a comment, I think, about going after the belt. So does he challenge Gunther next? That might be. That might very well be. All right. Well, I'm running out of time here, unfortunately, but hey, thank you guys for tuning in. I don't know what the frequency of the shows is going to be because I have a lot of family commitments going on right now, so I'm going to try to keep the show, on a semi-weekly basis that we've been doing, but we'll have to see as time goes on how things are going to work out, but yeah, once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching the show, being a part of the show, and contributing. If you really want to help out, check us out on Patreon.com. $1 a month, you can get stuff ad free and help out. Help out with the show and help keep the lights on because Lord knows every little penny, every little cent helps. So I'd greatly appreciate if you could contribute to Patreon. My hat's still wet. I washed this thing this morning. It's still wet. Sorry, guys. But yeah, check us out on Patreon.com. Check us out on YouTube. If you're not viewing us on YouTube, you can get to see my lovely face. Check us out on Spotify. But most of all, check us out on Patreon because you can become a member and just $1 a month. Enjoy it. And thank you for tuning in. Check out Then and Now Flea Market in Trenton, Tennessee. If you're in the Western Tennessee area, check them out. They're right downtown, right across from the courthouse. Can't miss it. Trenton's so small you can't miss it. So Then and Now Flea Market, check them out. Once again, as usual, prayers going out to Ukraine, to Israel. Excuse me. And as usual, thank you for tuning in. And God bless.